I've been closer to Jesus before. So can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
It's a Monday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com, and we got a really good one for you today to get you through those Monday morning blues. Ty, you feeling any Monday blues?
You know what? Honestly, today, no, not so much. It was a really good weekend. Kind of take the week now to kind of prepare for the next weekend because we know this next weekend's going to be a big one too, especially the end of the week. But yeah, no, I'm not feeling it. I think we had a great weekend, so I'm just more hyped about that right now.
You know, I feel good today. We have a great show planned, and there's no Monday blues here. I mean, if you're feeling them, we'll get you through them. We're good. Anthony Hartwig, Ty Bartell, Running Point brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town, and also comment section on your social media platforms brought to you by Boardman Mitsubishi. So whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch, make sure to leave us a comment. Fan question of the day, Ty. Monday morning quarterbacks are a thing, and they are live. So we want to know what's one of the craziest Monday morning quarterback comments you've ever heard, and maybe you've said them. We don't know. Give us some wacky Monday morning quarterbacks comments, and we'd love to hear from you. We have a lot of football to recap. Week 5 was a good one, and Ty, why don't we just start with the game that you were at and you called? Fitch was able to really handle their business after the tough loss against Ursuline. What do you see from the Falcons against Mooney?
Honestly, what I saw from the Falcons was they came out and looked like a complete team yet again. And I mean, it was a sense where when we saw the game against Ursuline too, you never thought that this team, I think, took a step back or that was the case at all. I think Fitch was always a strong team and continues to be a strong team. And I think they proved that against Mooney. And it's a Mooney team that, has had their struggles this year. And Fitch, it's a team that they probably should have beat. Record-wise, you kind of look at the teams where they are right now. Fitch came in as the better team on paper, and I think they did exactly what they were supposed to do and played exactly how everyone expected them to play. And Mooney, I mean, it's just a case where rough patches too. This is the first time, I think, definitely the first time in 20 plus years the Mooney Cardinals have started 0-5, and I mean it's a rough patch of water that Mooney has really never seen before. So it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of weather the storm and how they're going to try to respond to this and react to this with a favorable East matchup where they can possibly pick up their first win. But East is a team we've seen this year. They've been competitive. They've been able to pull off an upset against the Cleveland Shaw team as well. So I think this is a matchup too where Mooney might be favorable for them, but East is another team that I think it's going to be competitive. But I think for Fitch and what Devin Sherwood did, we saw the weapons that were created with Donnie Ellis, Tyler Evans, Dan Evans III, Cam Smith. I mean, so many receivers over there in Austin Town. And, Devin Sherwood does a fantastic job of utilizing all of them. And you saw the game plan kind of shift throughout the game, taking some deep shots. Kind of didn't have the range on Friday that Sherwood has that we've seen. Well, he had the range. Problem was he had a little bit too much of it. So not the accuracy that we've come used to seeing. You call it an off night for him, but he found other ways to win, found ways to make his guys make big plays and screen passes utilized to the right and to the left, and utilizing guys like Dan Evans, utilizing guys like Cam Smith, and letting them make up the work. I mean, that's how good the receiving core is in Austin Town, and I think they showed once again that why their offense is as good as it is.
Big thing that I saw, their run defense looked a lot better than it did in week 4. I mean, run is one of the things that Mooney is actually succeeding in this year, and Fitch was able to shut it down for the most part.
Yeah, they did a great job of shutting it down. They knew the game plan, and I mean that's the history, the bread and butter of Mooney's program for years too, utilized by Don Butchie back in the 70s and 80s. But now the Cardinals still utilize this game plan and utilize a lot of run schemes. They have a boatload of great backs there too in Mooney country. But the Falcons, they knew that's where the primary weapons sat, and Coach Parker had a game plan coming into Friday, and I think the Falcons executed it very well.
We move on, and one of our marquee matchups that we were really looking at, South Range versus Poland. The Raiders get the 42-34 victory tie. On Friday, I said this game had a chance to be one that was a Raiders runaway, and early it looked like that's where it was heading. Give credit to Poland for really making some adjustments and getting back in this game to the point where they tied it at 28. And I'm pretty sure it's the first time the Raiders have been tied this year outside of 0-0. I'd have to be fact-checked on that, but, you look at the way they've won this year, I don't think they've ever been especially tied at that point in the game, 28-28. By the way, that was an onside kick. They gave Poland the ball back, and they went down and tied the game with a Fulton running touchdown. But unfortunately for Poland, they couldn't stop the offense at South Range. No one's been able to stop the offense at South Range. Coach Yeagley comes up with a fourth down masterful play call. The 42-yard pass from Skripak to Dominguez lands for the touchdown, the deciding touchdown. South Range wins 42-34. And that's one test you can check off South Range's book. They have another one actually coming up this week, one that maybe we didn't expect coming into the season, but Girard's 4-1. They're coming into South Range. They just keep passing the tests that are in front of them.
Yeah, they do. And I mean, we got to keep seeing South Range still has a tough NE8 schedule with some other favorable matchups. Girard now all of a sudden becoming a big matchup. We know that Jefferson game's going to be looking to be another big matchup. And of course, we know that Hubbard match is going to be one everyone I think in the area is going to want to see. But what you saw from Poland is exactly what I thought you were going to see. It's a Poland team that you can never, I think, run away with a game on them. And their defense, that front seven is good enough that they could keep you in some games. Problem was that South Range just has too many weapons. Poland can do a good job of trying to limit the run, and they can get their defensive stoppage through the defensive line and the linebackers. But when it comes to the secondary, I mean, South Range is able to pass. They're able to run the ball, weapons all around the field. So, I mean, it's like you have to limit them on all areas of the field, and that's hard to do. And not many teams have, I think, you don't want to say that the talent level, but like the speed and just the skill position areas in all fronts to be able to stop them. It's going to be a tough team to try to stop completely on defense. Curious to see what Division V teams are capable of doing so, or if there's any out there. I think there's a few that are candidates, but we'll have to see those matchups later on in the year.
I think when Dan Yeagley watches this game film, and I'm sure he already has, and he breaks it down with his team, it's going to be like a double-edged sword, because he's going to see a lot of things that he's going to, we didn't do great, especially on defense, gap discipline and being able to tackle when you're given opportunities, things like that. But then great teams find ways to win when they're not playing at their best. And so he can take that and say, guys, we left a lot on the table. We didn't put up our best effort. We didn't execute everything great, but we still found ways to win the game. And that's what great teams do. And I think he's going to be able to take some building blocks to that, get better with the things that they have to get better at for next week, but then say, hey, our kids are finding ways to win games, period.
Yeah, and I mean, that's always been the case with South Range. I mean, there's going to be more tests along the way this season facing the NE8, and this is going to be no shy or no different of another one with Girard coming up this week.
We stay in the NE8, and let's see, Hubbard. Man, they every day. It's like, hey, TC Caffey, there you go. There's another day. Let's go through his numbers this week. 33 carries on the day for TC Caffey, 245 yards, and a bulk of that came just in the first half. This game was put away for the most part by the first half. They kind of slowed down on his production in the second half, but man, what can we say anymore? They just keep rolling, and the headline is they keep running. So they're running good, and Hubbard still looks like they're poised for a incredible end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, touchdown champion Caffey right now is
Right.
out there getting huge yards and huge scores each and every week. And I mean, you look at him and you look at what he's been able to do against some very notable defenses already this season, and it's doing exactly what I think everyone in the area wants. I think they want those two 9-0 teams, Southridge and Hubbard, going at it week 10 of the season, all the chips on the line. And you know what? It very well might boil down to that. There's some tests on both sides that they have yet passed, but the one common one now, both of them have beaten that tough Poland defense team. And I mean, seeing both of them pass that test now, let's see what's next for both teams. But both of them have beaten Struthers now. Similar opponents, similar results for these two teams. So I think it's going to be very interesting when they finally lock horns.
Gerard and the NE8 had to battle through some adversity. The good news for them is Don Melito was back after missing a couple of games. But the bad news is Tristan Valley got banged up a little bit, and then Don Melito had to step into the quarterback role. He did a really good job stepping into that quarterback role, by the way. He led them to victory. They didn't have any problems over Lakeview, 34-14 win. So, we definitely hope that Tristan Valley is okay. But at the end of the day, they have to be pretty impressed with the fact that your team gets to go through that adversity like that and come out the other end.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? It's going to add another layer of interest to this next week matchup with South Range, because does South Range, are they going to have enough of a book on him to really game plan for Melito? And it's going to be interesting to see kind of what dynamic you can use in Gerard. I mean, when Valley gets healthy, and if he's healthy again this season, you might be able to switch him out and use him interchangeably. I mean, some schools are able to do that and use them effectively. We'll see if that's what Gerard decides to do, but I think for sure it's going to add another layer of interest for this matchup Friday.
Gerard ran for 180 yards as a team on the ground, obviously with a new quarterback, emphasis on the running game, and they did it well there. Want to give a shout out to Lakeview senior Nate Fox. He continues to lead his team through a tough season, 129 yards total for him, and he scored 2 touchdowns, the only 2 touchdowns of the day for Lakeview. So he continues to show great leadership on a struggling team that's trying to build a program, not just build a successful season.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see Lakeview, I mean, in the beginning stages right now, trying to build something great. And I think you're seeing some of the cornerstones of what is going to be on part of that new foundation start to evolve and start to form right now. As you see some players starting to buy in and really put their footprints into the program and starting to say, hey, we are the foundation.
Ty Ursuline found themselves in yet another unbelievable finish that just continues to impress us. Audible call. We ended the audible call with the Irish up 43-34 with, little time left. We thought this game's going to wrap up. We're going to be okay. Head to the Joe Dickey Electric show. And then as we're getting ready for the Joe Dickey Electric post-game show, all of a sudden Warren Harding takes the lead. 49-43. And they're starting to, okay, we have to, we pumped the brakes a little bit on the scoreboard show, waited for that game to finish. Ursuline gets a kickoff return for a touchdown from Jacqueline Irving. Oh, not necessarily a walk-off, but the game-winning score to win 50-49 in Mollenkopf Stadium. They keep finding ways to escape these thrillers.
Yeah, they do. And I mean, you got to get credit to the Irish, man. I mean, they keep passing tests, and as long as they do, man, I don't know how you can't look at them as Division IV favorites to walk away with the state championship. Only team that slipped them up a little bit was Chardon, but I think by the next time they face them, I don't think you're going to see Chardon be able to stop the Irish in the same way that first half that they were able to this last time.
I mean, I don't think I can remember a team with this many down to the wire crazy finishes. You look at the first game of the year against Bishop Hartley, it came down to a 4th down stop and their defense came through. Fitch was a 2-point conversion / onside kick / blocked field goal. And then now they add a kickoff return for a touchdown to the list. You just have to ask, what's next for Ursuline? How are they going to win next week?
Yeah, honestly, I think Dan Reardon would tell you he wants to see them play some better defense, though, I think is what he would tell you for what's next and what's for next week. He definitely wants to see this team start playing a little bit better defense. But hey, man, offense figures out the way to win right now. It's the regular season. You have until the postseason to figure out defense, and you have a few more weeks to talk about it.
Under the shadows, special teams coming up big in the last 2 weeks as well. Blocked field goal and the kickoff return for a touchdown. So don't sleep on special teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, also too, you look at what they've been able to do. I mean, scoring wise on special teams, and also coming up big on the defensive end too, special teams wise. So I mean, like you said, certain areas they have two of the three-headed monster figured out right now in special teams and offensive. The defense can come around a little bit more consistently. I think this is going to be an Ursuline team that's going to be almost impossible to beat.
The surprise of the night, Salem. They were victims of an upset. 1-3 Alliance beats them in overtime by the final score of 27 to 21. This is a game where Salem it was just one of those games. They just couldn't get out of their own way a little bit. I think they had 3 turnovers in the game. They still found ways to stay in it. But at the end of the day, they just couldn't come up with that game-sealing play, the game-winning play to put Alliance away. And give Alliance a lot of credit. They're now 2-0 in the EBC after starting 0-3. And they're coached by a really well-respected coaching staff. You ask anybody in the EBC, they'll tell you how much their coaching staff is respected. I saw a sneak peek in their locker room on social media, and the kids were obviously pumped and hyped for that win, and they never stopped fighting. So you tip the hat to Alliance, but Salem on the other end, they stubbed their toe a little bit.
Yeah, they definitely need to figure out some things over in Quaker country right now. And I think they'll have those things figured out come next week. I mean, turnovers, big thing you're going to have to limit. If you want to beat any team, you're going to have to win the turnover battle, and you're going to have to limit turnovers on your offensive side. And like you said, Anthony, credits Alliance, able to force turnovers and ultimately win the turnover battle. You win a lot of games, and we saw Alliance do just that.
There were a lot of times where Alliance could have just said, okay, we fought hard, but we're going to lose this game. And they never did, so you have to give them credit for that. Brookfield returns to the field of play after missing last week, and they dropped 62 points on Camel. They looked really good. They win that game 62-0 over the Red Devils. And Pawlowski continues to impress. So does Christian Davis. Big games for them. Brookfield wins big over Camel.
Yeah, and I mean, that just sets up to more excitement of a possible Springfield-Brookfield number 2 later down the road. If it is any kind of possibility, too, that would be one of those matchups I think everyone locally would want to see a second one.
Springfield doesn't slow down. They win 55-7 against Middle Ridge. Mark Bunch just was harassed all day like Vinny Balone was last week. And the Tigers have beaten maybe the after Bo Brungard, the next 2 quarterbacks that you'll look at in that conference, they've beaten them in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what we saw too, like I said, from Springfield, took them a couple weeks to figure it out, but I mean, they're all in and they're focused now. This is the Springfield of old, and I don't know if there's any stopping them.
Beaver Local manages to hold on to the 27-21 win over Edison, and we said this on the Audible call, and we want to reiterate today. We want to send our hearts and our thoughts and our prayers out to the Edison community. Todd Smith, their assistant AD and their volleyball coach, unexpectedly passed away on Friday afternoon. We want to just, obviously, we send everything that we can to the Edison community. Their volleyball game tonight with Beaver Local has been postponed. So we're just trying to be with them, put our arms around that community. He will be missed. He was a big supporter of YSN over there, helped us a lot with setting up at Edison because he's also a computer teacher at the school. So, we miss him. Of course, Edison misses him. And we just want to put our arms around the Edison community right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Just hearts go out to Edison, and we're thinking about you.
Boardman continues to impress. They handle East by the final score of 62-14. Terrence Thomas in this offense has added a new dimension. They were looking impressive without him. They look even better with him.
Yeah, and it's going to be a great matchup too. I think set up with the AAC foes of Fitch and Boardman come the end of this year. I think it makes this matchup a lot more exciting now.
Shauna Hordo ran for 134 yards. Terrence Thomas, he ran for 70, threw for 120 and 122, and most of that damage all came in the first half. They were up 41-0 at halftime. So most of their starters took a seat after the first two quarters and still were able to put up some really big numbers for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we see too, I mean, it's just a complete offense, man. It's added a new layer, like you said, and with doing that, it's become a huge monster now.
West Branch gets a record-setting night against Canton South. They win 63-42 over the Wildcats. Both offenses just were ridiculously good. West Branch had 672. Going to repeat that, 672 yards of total offense. Stephen Mara broke the record set earlier by Tom Hinton. 7 rushing touchdowns on the night, 291 yards as well. And he had 37 carries. So 37 carries, 291 yards, 7 touchdowns. That is a West Branch record. Drew DeShields had 71 yards rushing, 14-16 through the air with 320 yards. Nick Wilson tied the record set by Greg Sharp with 19 career touchdown receptions. So congratulations to him. You have to think that if he's tied now, he has a handful of games left to break that record of career touchdown receptions. So he should be doing that pretty soon. West Branch continues to impress on offense, unstoppable.
Yeah, absolutely. And we knew Canton South was going to be one of those tests for them, and I think they passed it again. I mean, a team that averaged over 40 points a game last year, now it seems like they're trying to average over 60 this year with a few monstrous scoring games. And again, they do it yet again, putting up another 60-plus point performance.
That one was a straight-up basketball score. I mean, let's just be real. Louisville gets back to winning. They beat Jackson Milton 41-7. They were up 21-0 after one quarter. It was pretty much the Rockets game from that point on. They bounced back from the loss over Springfield. Canfield handles Cheney. They win 35-0 and 35-6, excuse me, in a game that we thought was going to be a lot more competitive. But Cheney their defense was actually, if you watch the game, was playing pretty well. Their offense put the defense in some bad situations with some costly turnovers deep in their own territory.
And like we said, man, Canfield's defense is one that it's a good defense as well, too. And they got size on that team as well. And as I said, Cheney was my sweetheart team. But that Canfield team, I got to give them props, and I gave them respect when it's due. They are one of the best in Division III, and you got to put some respect on their name.
Their secondary, underrated, not talked about enough. They pulled off a really good game against Cheney. You look at Fitch, obviously we talked about their win. McDonald gets the win over Sebring in a really competitive back and forth match until McDonald was able to force one turnover late. They were up 28-20, forced a turnover, and then go up 34-20. It was pretty much their game after that. But you want to give credit to Sebring. They found themselves down. I think it was 21-6 before they came back and made it 21-20. And then McDonald obviously answered with 2 straight touchdowns. Noah Frederick was great. He had 2 50-plus yard touchdown runs to make it 21-20. But McDonald was able to hang on to win. They're on a 2-game winning streak, and they will go to Western Reserve in Week 6. Sebring matches up with Jackson Milton in Sebring.
Yeah, and that's going to be a little bit of a favorable matchup, I think, for Sebring to Jackson Milton in a program kind of trying to figure out where their foothold is right now after Week 1. And I think with this next matchup, too, McDonald and Western Reserve is going to be a very good matchup as two teams that are on this comeback now, and they're starting to turn things around in their programs with Western Reserve and McDonald both compiling some wins together. It's going to be an interesting matchup for Week 6.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, absolutely interesting. we can't look forward to it enough. And McDonald seems to have put some things together.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of wins back to back too. And I mean, like we said, it's a McDonald team that doesn't rebuild, they reload, and it was only a matter of time before they figured it out, and they're starting to turn their program around a little bit now.
A week where two teams, by the way, had to deal with losing their quarterback early and had someone else step up. United lost Grand Knight pretty early in the game to an injection, but Parker Newburn was able to step up into the role and lead the Eagles to a 33-0 win over Latonia. You look at Cody Cope. He found the end zone. Luke Courtney hit a couple of field goals, so their kicking game looks good. United, they pass a test through adversity. They get the 33 win over Latonia to continue within the EOAC.
Yeah, I picked Latonia in that one too, and I got to give my apologies where it's due to United. I mean, I thought the big names too that were still on the Latonia's team were going to be enough to carry them too, especially with getting football back in that program. But United showcasing why a complete team can sometimes beat even some of the best in the area. And United, I think right now, showcasing it's them and Southern, I think, in a race.
Coach Julia said after the game that it was pretty apparent that United had played multiple complete games, and Latonia basically played a half because their starters got to sit against East Palestine after one half of play. So, you just take that for what it's worth. Latonia took their lumps. I think they'll be okay once they get more reps, but, we'll see. We will take a quick break. On the other end, Josh Kelly, the head coach of Louisville Volleyball, joining us on the show. Don't go anywhere. Running Point brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring. And, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the four words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Welcome back to Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell, and we are joined today by the head coach over in the Louisville volleyball program, Josh Kelly. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Oh, thanks for having me on, guys.
Of course. Now, when we talk about Louisville volleyball, you guys are a young team with a handful of leaders, but you're starting to figure things out a little bit. Big win over Springfield last week. What have you seen from your team so far this season?
We lost a lot of seniors last year. We lost a lot of talent on that. I was a little apprehensive at the start of the season that we were going to be able to get back into some competitive form of volleyball this year, but I've been very amazed at the amount of hard work that the girls have put in. And, they've gotten us to where I think, honestly, we're probably one of the most competitive teams that we've been able to field here in a couple of years right now. So, and that's 100% due to their hard work out on the court and off the court and at practice and everything that, small town athletes do. We have 3 girls on the team right now that are playing golf and volleyball. So they're juggling 2 sports. Everyone's doing very well academically, so we don't have any issues there. So my hat's off to the girls for putting in the work that they need to be competitive in this league.
Looking at about 5-6 record too. I mean, you guys are kind of hanging in there too, right around the 500 mark. What does this team need to do, or what are the improvements that need to be made for them to take that next step and start seeing the wins start to turn around more frequently than the losses?
Yeah, I think what we need to do is we just need to play more consistent volleyball, and that comes within the sets or, in between, from one set to the next. We have this tendency sometimes that we get in the peaks and the valleys. We just need to play on the plateaus a little bit and stay consistent throughout. And I think that we'll start pulling those out. We had a really great game against Springfield, great opponent, great atmosphere. And then we played Matthews. We ended up losing that in 5. That was our last loss to Matthews. But Matthews is the leader, leading their league. So it's a tough volleyball team. So I think we're right there. We just need to take that next step and consistently put our best foot forward out there on the court.
You talked about the atmosphere that you guys get. You guys have a great student section at the volleyball games in Louisville. I got to see it firsthand. Talk about what it means to the team and to you and to the program to have not just the support of the parents and the fans, but also the support of the student body and the school system as well.
It's awesome. This has been the best year for our student section. I mean, we pack the stands on home games. And I think that's because we are playing competitive volleyball. We are playing that exciting volleyball with the kills and running slides and things that, people want to come see. We're not just passing the ball back and forth, hoping that somebody doesn't make a mistake. We're out there playing aggressive volleyball. But, my hats are off to the football players and all of the student athletes and the students that show up at these games. Thankfully, the football coach allows these guys to come to these games, so works around our schedule so they can attend. And obviously we attend their games. So it's been, I can't even tell you how great it's been. The girls really thrive in that atmosphere with all that energy that the student section brings. I'm very, very grateful for their work they've done this year.
I think it's no question that you probably know that Sammy Kelly is one big dog at the Valley for the Louisville Rockets. Talk to me a little bit about her play too. I mean, able to fill it up in the box score categories in a multitude of areas. Is that something that's been coached with her over the years, or is that something that she's kind of just picked up naturally? And how much does that mean to a team having that player that can kind of just do it all on the court at all times?
Well, I think that, Sammy puts in a ton of work. She participates in JO volleyball, and as well as she was playing travel softball there. And she knows that if you want to play multiple sports, you're going to have to put in the work if you want to be good at it. This year just happened to work out and for her favor that we lost some really good attackers. Her sister, Casey, she graduated last year. She was a leading attacker on her team last year. So we had a big void to fill. We have good setters on our teams in JV and varsity level. So we're able to run a 6-2 this year, which allows Samantha to have that opportunity to go out there and be a hitter while the other setter is setting. And that's been huge for us. And I think that the team appreciates that. I think they feed off of the energy that she brings. The girls are out there playing hard. We have a couple girls now that, play a lot of the game. We have Sam Moore, my senior, as a libero. She's out on that court the whole time hustling. They feed off of each other. And then we have Savannah Prosick has now turned into being a back row and front row specialist for us. So she's on the court a lot of the time. So it's expected. It's what we have to do in a small school. And I think that, Sammy has excelled at that this year. And I'm very proud of her hard work because she's very deserving of it.
Sammy plays multiple sports, but you coach multiple sports too. I mean, you're also the softball coach at Louisville. Talk about some of the time constraints that provides and what it's like kind of doing the dual threat coach and being the volleyball coach while also being the softball coach.
Well, it's definitely a time management thing. We're juggle, thankfully I don't do anything in the winter sports. So we pick up on softball a little bit with some open hitting and so forth in the winter and try and get back into shape on that. But I'm fortunate enough that, we're a small school. So most of our student athletes play multiple sports. So the girls that I'm coaching in volleyball right now are still the girls that I'm going to be coaching in softball. So as a multi-sport coach, I do a lot of our conditioning as in a neutral conditioning, something that's going to benefit them throughout their athletic careers in that, that they're going to play 3 or 4 different sports all season. So we don't specifically condition for one sport. We kind of general conditioning. So it seems to be working out. I don't know. We'll see.
What are some things from softball or from volleyball that you found yourself carrying over from one sport to the next, whether it be within the play itself or maybe just some sort of mentality, some sort of a thought process? Just talk to me a little bit about that. Has there been anything like that that you've seen kind of carry over?
Yeah, we're big into footwork. We're big into foot speed, quickness on the field, either on, in softball or on the court and volleyball. So we tend to concentrate a lot on that quickness, that explosiveness, that you need to utilize in both sports to make those plays, to get to the ball and make a good play. So some of it carries over. And then just the general mentality is that, we've got to work harder than a lot of, because we are multi-sport athletes in Louisville. We don't have the numbers to support just the volleyball program and those girls. That's all they play. If we did that, then we wouldn't be able to fill the other sports. And these girls do an awesome job of stepping up and playing multiple sports and representing their school. And I don't think that could be overlooked. It should definitely be something that emphasized with these smaller schools in this area, that, you know, these multi-sport athletes are really putting in the time all year long.
We talked about some of your upperclassmen and leaders of the team, but you also have a handful of freshmen that have stepped up and taken up starting roles on the varsity team as well. Talk about them, how impressed you are with them, and how fortunate it is to have freshmen come in ready for varsity play and able to make that adjustment from junior high to varsity.
It's been monumental for us, and that starts all the way down into the junior high programs. Again, I'm fortunate enough being in a small school that I run the junior high program all the way up through the high school program. My wife Courtney is taking over the junior high program. She was down there last year a little bit, and this year full time, to make sure that we're setting up those fundamentals so that we can get freshmen coming in and immediately being able to transition over to high school. Now, obviously the speed of the game is a lot faster, and that's always a learning curve there. But as long as the fundamentals are sound, we've been fortunate enough that we have some really gifted athletes, you know, coming in as freshmen that have been able to make some significant playing time. Hadessa Rivera, just to name one, has come in as a back row specialist and really solidified that back row for us, and that's been huge, because everything starts in the back row. If you can't get the pass up to the setter, you can't get your attacks, you can't run your offense. So, you know, and then we have Ariana Romano, who is one of our middles, and been a beast up there in the front row with her blocking skills right now. She's working to transition to become a more efficient hitter. But I mean, as a freshman, just absolutely stepping out of their comfort zone and playing at a higher level. It's been monumental for us.
I think there's no doubt that you coaching a multitude of sports too, there's something about coaching that keeps bringing you back to it. So I guess this question might be easier or hard depending on how you look at it. But what is your favorite thing about coaching in general?
I think my favorite thing about coaching is those few moments that you have where everything just clicks, where you can see the hard work that everybody's put in, the coaching staff, the students, athletes, everything is just clicking. It's like watching ballet. It's just perfect. And, you know, they're very few and far in between, but when they do happen, it is a really rewarding feeling to sit there and go, wow, I had something to do with that. It's a little part, but I had something to do with that. And, you know, it keeps you coming back.
Before we let you go, we want you to get a chance to highlight your coaching staff and the people that help you all the way from junior high. You brought up Courtney, your wife, and all the way up to your assistants and some of the people that help this Louisville volleyball program succeed the way it does.
Well, you know, we start off, we have a first-year coach in the 7th grade, which is Madison Kelly. She is in college right now, so she's coming in and helping with the 7th graders. Madison was a phenomenal. She was an MVAC first-team setter when she was up there, and she brings a high intensity to that 7th grade program. My wife is overseeing all the programs and coaching the 8th grade team. Courtney does an outstanding job with getting the kids ready to take that next step, to come up and play JV and freshman ball, or actually transition over some of them over into varsity if they put forth a good effort. And then I have my junior varsity freshman coach with Abby Boudet. This is her 2nd season with us in the program, and she's doing a great job with that. She is really pushed to have a freshman team, and we've been getting games scheduled to allow those freshmen to get some more playing time out there on the court together as a unit. And that's been monumental, as well as to giving these girls a little bit more play time to try and transition into, you know, the high school varsity level. They do a fabulous job. I mean, they all are full-time. You know, I have 2 full-time firefighters on my department with Abby and Courtney, and then Madison is a full-time student and a part-time firefighter. They do an outstanding job of coordinating schedules and making sure someone's there, that we never have any coaching lapses, and everything really has been running smooth so far this season, knock on wood. And you know, I couldn't do it without them. They make this program. I get the finished product. They're the ones putting in all the hard work.
Coach, we want to thank you so much too for joining us. As I'd like to thank you, and I wanted to finish off as you highlighted too with the rest of your roster and rest of your coaching staff as well. I want to kind of look ahead at some games before we let you go too. You got a tough matchup coming up with McDonald tomorrow night. Preview this matchup a little bit for me and what you expect to see from the Blue Devils come Tuesday night.
Well, they're going to bring it. There's no doubt about that. I mean, coming from that, they came from a club team to, then started into the high school teams, and they had a little rough season, their first season, which really wasn't that rough. I mean, they came in ready to play volleyball. So it wasn't what most people had expected, and they just keep progressing as they go. So they're going to bring it. They're going to come with a high intensity to our place. We've got to match that intensity. We went 4 sets with them. At the beginning of the season when we lost to them. I anticipate that this is going to be hopefully a very competitive game, and I would look to it to go 5 sets. I mean, we've been playing really good ball, and we're forcing people to play their best ball to beat us. And I'm sure they will bring their best ball, and we're going to bring ours, and we'll just see how it works out.
Coach, thank you so much for a multitude of things. One, for your time that you come on the show. Your time that you put into Louisville athletics, being the coach of multiple sports, but also the time that you put in as a member of the police community, keeping everybody safe. We couldn't thank you enough for that and what you do. And we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
That was Josh Kelly, head coach of Louisville volleyball, and as he said, they're starting to put things together. A young team that has some senior leadership and trying to mix youth with experience, and 5 and 6 and going into their second round of MVAC play. Should be an interesting team come the end of the year.
Yeah, I think we're going to see this team start to develop and start improving more before our eyes. And I think you're starting to see the beginning stages of that. Back-to-back 5-set matches, coming away with 1 win over Springfield, unfortunately falling to Matthews, but still forcing it to 5 sets. I mean, it's a team that's starting to become more and more competitive as we see. And I think you got to see the improvements of the young girls starting to develop.
A really good Matthews team, by the way. I mean, they are leading their league. And obviously we know their female athletics very good. Their softball team going to the state tournament last year. And obviously, like Louisville, small school, a lot of multiple sport athletes. So I imagine a plethora of those softball girls on the volleyball team at Matthews. So a very good showing, pushing them to 5 sets.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it just shows the competitiveness that we're starting to see with the team.
Ty, you had a chance to do some volleyball over the weekend. We'll continue our kind of volleyball segment of the show, talk about Fitch's sweep of the quad match, right? It was a quad going on Saturday and sweeping that Saturday morning quad match.
Yeah, 4 teams featured. It was the Fitch Falcons, the Cardinal Huskies, the Poland Bulldogs, and the Strongsville Mustangs. And what we saw from the Austintown Fitch Lady Falcons was just complete domination on all fronts, winning all three matches, in 2 straight sets, best out of 3 sets. None of them even went to a 3rd set. Fitch wins all of them back to back to back to back. I mean, they're doing a fantastic job. And I mean, you could see how well Coach Jody Bartlett has gotten this team ready. I mean, now that Aaron Burke's back healthy, they're really operating as a complete whole with Sammy Messick freed up now to do some hitting as well. I mean, Jocelyn Jordan and Alyssa Leskovac do what they do, as well as the captains. I mean, kill leaders in their own rights. And then what we saw too, I mean, Ellis Ali, one of the best liberos, I think, in the area, does a fantastic job of getting digs and starting that whole offense into its rotation. And I think you can't overshadow that. I think her play is huge to the Falcons' offense, and I think it's part of the reason why they were so successful over the stretch of last few games, and the stretch of those 3 games especially too. And I think, honestly, what we're seeing, too, is younger players starting to come around. Afton Roby, another one of those with her net defense, starting to become a huge player. And when it's her and Jocelyn Jordan on the net, oh, my goodness, it is so hard to get anything over those 2 towers. And I think her play paired with what Jocelyn Jordan's able to do, boy, oh, boy, this volleyball team is starting to really come together, and they look very tough to beat.
And you got a chance to get some post-game words from Coach Bartlett and Ella Solly and Afton Roby. We're going to check out what they all had to say after Fitch's sweep of the quad match on Saturday.
Yes, we are here with Coach Jody Bartlett of the Austintown Fitch Lady Falcons. Now, Coach Bartlett, I don't think there's any question. Dominating is the word to use for your team today. Various teams, Cardinal, Poland, Strongsville, various times in these games, you were down by as much as 4, 5, 6 at some points, but you guys always battle back and you guys always win. Speak to me about what that means for you as a coach and what that means for this team being able to battle through no matter what the deficit.
Yeah, no, that's huge. And that's something these girls, over the past couple of years, I think that's something we stress all the time. We know, if we're a couple points behind, we need to pull it together. We need to look at what it is we need to focus on. And those girls do that. I did call timeouts a few times that we needed to look at whether it was our defense or receive. There was a time, I don't remember what set it was, but we had made a lot of hitting errors and, just to look at those things and say, hey, we can't keep just giving points. We need to make our opponents work for them. And they did. We had good competition today, but my girls definitely pulled it together when they needed to and finished strong.
2 players I interviewed. I want to talk to you a little bit briefly about each of them. First one, Afton Roby. I think there's no question that what we saw from her net defense today has been absolutely incredible. Talk to me a little bit about what it's like having a sophomore coming up and being able to do that to complement Jocelyn Jordan with that height on the net.
Oh, she's doing a phenomenal job. I worried about her comfort level with the other girls, but she stepped right in and she's worked really hard and she plays really aggressive and she did great for us today. Definitely has gotten so much stronger on her defense blocking. Smart hitter. She has really good court awareness. So she definitely, sees the other attackers, knows where to go around the blocker. She's doing a great job.
I mean, to go right into Ella Solly, too, another one of our players of the day. I mean, there's no doubt, too, when you win 6 straight matches, you have good offense, and the offense starts with your libero and getting digs. You saw her knee pads all scuffed up. Talk to me about what it means to have that libero that can just start your offense, it seems like, from wherever the ball is hit.
She does a great job. Her ability to read the ball, and I don't know how many times the ball would come between the block, and she's still able to get it and put the ball up, give a great pass to the setter. Her hustle, she's just a huge asset to our team. Absolutely.
Looking ahead now, I mean, you guys are now 10-1 now, I think, after today, after the 3 straight match wins. Looking ahead now, you got some wins over what we said. Boardman Cheney was this week as well. So you guys are on a roll after that 1 loss to Marlington. You guys haven't really looked back. Looking ahead to a little bit at your schedule and what you got after today. We know you go to face Howland coming up on Tuesday. Preview that matchup a little bit for me and what you expect second time around facing the Howland Tigers.
Yeah, well, I think it's always harder going into somebody else's home court for one. So we know we definitely, have to look at that home court advantage. I think is huge. And Howland's a good team. I know we beat them last time, but they always play good defense. They always give us a good game. So we know we need to get ready for that. And then, after that, we have Louisville coming up and the try this weekend. We know that's going to be tough. So we have a strong week ahead of us. We're going to work hard to get ready for them.
As the Lady Falcons will go into that week 10-1 as they are programmed, looking as one of the powerhouses in the area. Coach Bartlett, thank you. Welcome back, everybody, here to YSNLive.com. Ty Bartell joined with me is Afton Roby, and Afton, in 6 sets, 3 matches, you guys were able to pull off a victory in every single one of those sets, and I think there's no doubt that your net defense was a huge contributing factor in it. Talk to me, because, I mean, you kind of just bursted on the scene with these three sets. Is that something you've been working on a lot in your practice?
Yeah, we work on a lot of hitting and blocking, and during the offseason, I was playing club, and I basically got a lot of work in there, too.
Talk to me a little bit about what you know about this resiliency of this team. I mean, you talk about 3 matches. You never lost a set the whole way through. Various times you were down to various teams throughout the day, but you guys kept on battling back and didn't drop a set. What does that say to you about how the team plays as a whole?
Really, the team, they're hard workers. We always practice after school, put in our all. Every single drill we do, we want to give our 100%. So I think that really helps out for when we game time.
And there's no doubt that this team, you see how much they give 100% all the way through. But you, being one of the younger players on the team, talk to me a little bit about what that means to you as being one of the sophomores that is still getting significant playing time here as honestly, on the Falcons.
It's such an honor. Like, I would have never expected to be here my sophomore year, and I just love it. They're all great people, very welcoming, and they really just helped me out. Like, compared to this year and last year, it's just a huge difference because of them.
As we are joined by Afton Roby, thank you so much. One of our players of the day, because there was multiple games, so we have to award it to a few people. But the net defense today of Afton Roby certainly helped the Falcons lead them to 6 victories over 3 different schools. Afton, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody, as I am joined now with our second player of the day in Ella Sawley, the libero for the Austintown Fitch Lady Falcons. As you can see, knee pads all torn up a little bit. She was on the ground a lot today. Ella, talk to me a little bit about these six sets that you played today. All hard-fought sets, but it seemed like you were all over the place getting digs. Talk to me about how were you today? Were you in the zone from the onset? Because it certainly seemed like you were.
Yeah, we all love to win, and we came out pretty fired up, and we did very good today.
I asked the same question to Afton earlier about how you guys played as a team too. And I mean, I think it's absolutely incredible that in various sets and various matches, you guys went down to different teams, but still always came out victorious. Talk to me a little bit about, you're the one that starts all of that when you get the initial dig. Talk to me about how much of a role you've taken in this team as saying, like, you have to start the break now.
Right. So I think that we all play with a lot of grit, and that all comes together, and we all work together to pull through with the win. And I would say that Afton and Julia, our 2 middles today, did a really good job, and they came out super strong.
Talk to me now, when you have these younger players such as Afton and them stepping up, how much better does that make this team now?
Well, it's actually pretty fun to bring in young girls. They're all new and smiley and innocent, and they just like to have fun, and they just bring joy to the court.
As now looking forward to for the rest of this year, kind of just reflect a little bit about your Austintown experience so far, and your involvement with the community, your involvement with the school, your involvement with the team, what it's meant to you, and what this team as a whole means to you.
It actually means so much to me. I've been a part of Austintown Volleyball since the 5th grade. I was a manager for 2 years, then played 2 years at the middle school, and this is now my 4th year at the high school. So it's been great growing up with these girls. I love them to death, and I will remember them forever.
As Ella Sawley, the very talented libero for the Austintown Fitch Lady Falcons, winners of 6 straight sets over 3 opponents today. The Austintown Fitch Falcons look to continue their role, as now I believe they are 10-1 on the season with 3 wins today.
Yes,
congratulations to everything, Ella, as we look to be talking to you very soon again.
Thank you.
So that was Ty catching up with Coach Jody Bartlett and Ella Sawley and Afton Roby after Fitch's sweep of that quad match on Saturday with Strongsville, Poland, and Cardinal. By the way, Cardinal is the Division III reigning district champs. So some quality opponents coming into the Falcons' nest, and Fitch able to sweep the day. We're going to take a break. On the other end, Dana Ballish with his weekly call-in on a Monday afternoon, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air,
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online,
All right, let's talk high-res futurecast and the timing of this weather.
on social media, and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
And welcome back to the Monday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. And like every Monday at 1 o'clock, we're joined by our good friend over at 21 WFMJ, Dana Ballish, the sports director. Dana, thank you so much for taking the time today to call us in.
I appreciate it, Anthony. Thanks.
Week 5 is complete. We'll start with what are some of your biggest takeaways from the action on week 5?
Well, I think you got to look at Alliance knocking off a very good Salem team, which I think surprised a lot of people. Salem has that high-powered offense. They were averaging probably over 40 points a game, heading into this one, and probably was the favorite, I guess, if you want to say that, to knock off Alliance. And Alliance got some breaks and came through and knocked them off in overtime. So a good win by the Aviators. For the second week in a row, Ursuline wins on a special teams play. Against Austintown Fitch, it was a defensive special teams play. And from a defensive side, on Friday, they got a kickoff return in the final, 2 minutes to take that. So I think that's, the big question is, where is Ursuline's defense? And are they going to outscore people? West Branch, the same thing, averaging 53 points a game. Got a, a big win, 63-42 over Canton South. In the last 2 weeks, they scored over 60 points. So I think we're seeing a lot of offense. Not sure how much defense we're seeing, but those were just some of the takeaways that I took.
And you brought up that Salem and Alliance game, maybe the first real big upset that we've seen this season. But a Salem team that has high expectations and still probably expecting a lot from them from the outside. What do you think is the mentality this week to bounce back over that loss to Alliance?
Well, when you lose in overtime, now the dangerous thing is you're playing a Minerva team that hasn't won a game all season. So, there's no pressure on Minerva. And I talked to a lot of coaches over my time, and they would rather play a team that's undefeated or one loss instead of a team that's winless, because that winless team, is dangerous because they have nothing to lose, so to speak. So, for Salem, their next couple of games, I believe it's Minerva and Marlington who is struggling. And then, in 8, 9, and 10, I think they got some winning programs, and I know they close out the season against West Branch. So, you just got to, get that loss out of your mind, make the corrections, and move on.
South Range was able to go on the road and weather a comeback against Poland. And now Poland finds themselves with 3 losses on the year. Do you think Poland's in the situation where they have to, win out to get into the playoffs in Division 4?
Well, I don't know if they have to win out. They're sitting at 2 and 3. Look, I don't think they have to win out. I think with 16 teams, going in each region, I don't think Poland is going to lose out, the rest of the year. Their schedule does get a little bit easier, I guess, because, they play the heavyweight, so to speak, in Hubbard and South Range. And, and Niles is sitting at 3-1 coming off a week where they didn't play. But, I don't think it's a must win for Poland. I think they'll get some wins in the second half of the season. But to label this a must win against Niles, I wouldn't go that far. Again, with the 16 teams getting in, you can make a couple of mistakes. And Poland's made those mistakes. They got 3 losses. But again, with 16 teams, with 3 losses, I don't think we're in that mode just yet. I mean, and again, if you look at it, if Poland would be in the playoffs right now with the 2-3 record, but I don't think they're in desperate mode just yet.
TC Caffey for Hubbard continues to just run with his hair on fire. We've seen a lot of really good running backs come into this area and even come into Hubbard. But how impressed are you so far with the season that Mr. Caffey is putting together, especially the wins that he's able to get against teams that really contained him last year, like Poland and Mooney?
Well, and again, it's that sense of maturity. Norwayne, he ran for 245 against Norwayne. I thought Cardinal Mooney had a very good game plan for him. I thought Poland did a good job of containing him. When you get to the final week of the regular season against South Range, who's probably, in Hubbard's 5 remaining games, the best defensive team out there. Let's see what he can do. But, Caffey has 1,328 yards. He got 19 touchdowns. Someone told me over the weekend he's leading the nation in rushing. So again, he would be the first one to, give credit to his offensive line. I really thought in the Poland game in the second half, he maybe matured maybe a little bit more. A lot of players would get frustrated in the first half, when they're shut down. And Caffey came out in the second half and really, put Hubbard in position to win that game, kind of fueled that comeback. So, he's doing what they expect him to do. And certainly when you can run the ball as much as Hubbard's running the ball, you got a very young quarterback, in Hendricks, who, hasn't thrown a lot. But when you don't have to throw a lot, you can run the football. That's part of it.
Obviously, coaches can't look ahead because they have to go 1 week at a time. But us in the media, we're allowed to. How much are your eyes kind of turning towards week 10 when you see Hubbard versus South Range?
Well, a lot can happen between that, and again, right now as we get set for week 6, I mean, they're both undefeated, and they seem to be on that collision course. But, it's not going to be easy for some of these guys. South Range's last regular season loss came to Niles, so, when you're playing, these teams and the teams that have always won and the teams that have been successful, I mean, there's a little mojo in there, for teams. And let's just go back to last week with the Lions and Salem. That proves that again. I mean, I know it's cliche, but on any given night, any team can beat any team, If you look at the schedules, yeah, they do seem to be on that collision course. But I think with 4 weeks of football before that, there's a lot can happen. I mean, things can happen with injuries. Players can go down. It's nice to talk about, but I think, that's a ways off.
YSU gets to come back home this week. I know you are very close to that program and get to talk to them a lot. Preview this game in the Ice Castle and what you expect come Saturday.
Well, Western Illinois is winless on the season. They're zipping 3, but so this is a team that's put some points on the board. They scored 50-some and lost against. Lost over the weekend. Their opponent, they lost to. It escapes me who they get beat by over the weekend. But again, it's go out there. I mean, Dan Becker didn't play against Michigan State. They got the week off, so hopefully he'll be back. This is a team that this Western Illinois team, again, they're a dangerous team because they're winless. Their backs are up against the wall in a 10-game season. It's the conference opener. It's at home. It's a night game, so to speak. I mean, YSU is going to have to come to play, even though it was a loss for Western. They're in that game mode a little bit. So, I think Demetri Crenshaw has done a good job for the Penguins. I think he's been able to manage the game. I thought he really played well in his first start against incarnate word. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago they played at Michigan State. I think that's, you can look at that in several different ways. But again, besides, one interception, one turnover, I think the Crenshaws played very, very well. So, YSU's going to have to buckle up the chin straps. I don't think there's any question about that. And they're going to have to come ready to play. This Western Illinois team may be winless, but they can move the football.
All right, let's go to the local NFL teams. Browns win. Steelers drop one to the Raiders. What were some of your takeaways from week 2 with the two teams in our coverage area?
Well, I thought the Browns did what they were supposed to do. A little shaky there in the first half. I think Baker kind of, got things under control a little bit. You lose Landry, you have to go to, plan B, so to speak. But when you can run the football like the Browns run the football with Hunt and Chubb, that takes a lot off the quarterback. So, I thought the Browns did some things good. It was good to see fans back in the stands at the First Energy Stadium. So I think, you got the Bears coming in. They're going to announce Wednesday whether Beckham's going to, see some action on Sunday. But again, I think the Browns did what they were supposed to do. They got beat against Kansas City, came back, and it wasn't flashy. It was just, they got the job done.
Right. Before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to kind of just preview what the week ahead will look like at 21 FMJ Sports and what fans should look forward to on your airways.
Well, we're going to have Mark Porter tonight. He's going to talk about, again, West Branch, a team that's averaging 53 points a game. We'll have that tonight, also a Browns update. And we have tomorrow we'll have the YSU report, so we'll hear from Coach Phillips and some players. And Thursday, DJ Yoakley will join us for our YSN Ainsley Heating and Cooling, football preview. We'll talk about a couple of games. Then Friday, the 24th, it's already week number 6.
All right, Dana, we're definitely looking forward to that. Thank you so much for calling in today and every week, and we look forward to continued success from both parts.
Talk to you later. Thanks very much.
Dana Balish joining us like he does every Monday at 1 o'clock on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. Want to let Ty back into the show. Well, unfortunately, Dana wouldn't be able to hear him on our setup. But Ty, what were some of your takeaways from that conversation?
Basically what I think a lot of people are thinking right now, halfway through the football season, we like to start building these storylines and everything. But as Dana Balish said, too, you got to play the 4 weeks before we get to week 10. And there's a lot of favorable week 10 matchups, and everyone's kind of scheming records and everything. We were kind of doing it earlier, too, of course, Hubbard and South Range. But there's a lot of great matchups in these next 4 weeks before we get to week 10. Let's go through these 4 weeks. Let's see these great matchups, and let's see who comes out of that first.
Yeah, it's funny. I think media members are allowed to get a little bit ahead of themselves, but Dana's sticking with that coach's mentality. I respect it, but sometimes media members can just be like, "Ooh, look at that."
We like building storylines. We like thinking of storylines that can be built with it. But no, absolutely, and I think it does remind you too through the media that we got to look at each week just as important too, and that's what we try to do here too. Because each week there's big matchups every week.
I want to remind everybody as we continue this episode of Running Point that the Boardman Mitsubishi comment section is live on whatever Facebook platform you're watching on. I should say whatever social media platform you're watching on, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. The fan question of the day. Give us some crazy Monday morning quarterback comments that you've either heard or spoken in your lifetime, because that's what Mondays are all about, right? Overreacting to what your sports team did on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Yeah, great question too. And it's a question that I think there's a lot of fans out there. Either you've been one yourself or someone that overreacts anytime one of their favorite teams does bad or starts struggling a little bit.
Week 2 loss. Fire everybody.
Yeah, you're probably in that spot right now. You ready to trade Mahomes yet?
Yep. Get him out. He's done. that interception. Nope. Get him out. That's it. Want to continue our recap of the weekend a little bit because we had some volleyball and soccer go down. Crestview still undefeated. They get the win over the weekend over Cardinal Mooney in 3 sets, 25-21, 25-10, 25-19. Lucy Montgomery, who was up for Big Dog last week but did not win it, she finished with a triple-double, 19 kills, 13 assists, 11 digs for her. Grace Hour did the bulk of the setting, 23 assists for her, also 8 kills and 8 digs. Abby Emsch continues her impressive freshman season, double-figure kills with 11, and she had 5 blocks. The Cardinals, man, they have some impressive players, but they were up against a tough opponent. Elena Scavina, 12 kills, 9 digs. Angelina Rotuno, 29 assists. And Elena Francis, led the team in digs with 13. So Mooney continues to get all their pieces back, try to put a successful season together, but they couldn't hold up against Crestview. Canfield Volleyball, they welcomed in Tusky Valley, a 7-1 Tusky Valley team that, by the way, went to the regional semifinals in Division 3 the year before. They were 7-1 on the season, and Canfield just could not withstand their offensive firepower. They lose in 3 sets, 25-15, 25-17, 25-21. Abby Householder with 20 kills on the day. Canfield girls soccer did get the win, though, 1-0 over Boardman. You look at the only goal they scored was off a penalty kick shot by Mia Tophorser. They moved to 8-1-0 on the year, and they will be in action tonight as they host Fitch. I'm sorry, they didn't beat Boardman. I was ahead of myself. They beat West Branch 1-0. West Branch falls to 5-2-2, and they will host Kinston tomorrow night. So a big 2 matches outside the EBC in a row for West Branch. Now we're at Boardman girls soccer. They get the win over Warren Harding, 7-1. 3 goals scored from Ashley Harding. Harding with the goals against Harding. Just a little thing that made me laugh. Morgan Ock, Sarah Blasco, Sarah Dubel, and Ava Freeborough all scored goals as well. Assists were given to Harding, Blasco, Freeborough, Nadia Rawana, and Sarah Barrow also got an assist. The Spartans will stay home on tonight to host Howland. So the Lady Spartans get the win, and everyone kind of cruising along here in the bulk of the volleyball season, bulk of the soccer season.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we're kind of just getting through the halfway point in all fall sports right now, and it's really a time where some players and some teams are kind of looking at their halfway point, and you can kind of tell now what the forecast is going to be for you to make the playoffs now, and what's going to need to be done in the second half of the season. So I think every team kind of has those ideas of what they are this year. Are they going to be rebuilding? Are they going to be competing? Are they going to be in the state title contention? I think every team kind of has an idea of where they can be, or if they can be up to that next level, what they need to do. And I think in all sports, soccer, volleyball, football, I think all the teams right now, it's a good halfway point this week right now. It's a good halfway point for all sports.
Canfield Volleyball feeling a little bit restless. Their fans not used to 5 and 6 on the year, but their schedule is a gauntlet. They brought in Tusky Valley, who was 27-2 last year, 7-1 this year. They couldn't hold up, but I talked to Coach Scott afterwards, and she said that, she was very frank. She said that was probably the worst game we played all year, and we did it against a 7-1 team that has won state championships in their program's history. So, you got to just stay a little bit patient with Canfield and their schedule. They'll be okay come tournament time. Everybody gets in. So it really doesn't matter what your overall record is. You just got to make sure your team is as prepared as possible come tournament time, especially in Division I. She gave me an interesting tidbit because of COVID. They did not realign divisions this year. Canfield is, as far as volleyball, they're in Division II numbers-wise. But because they didn't realign, they're still in Division I, so they're going to be by far the smallest Division I volleyball team in the state. But it's just how the cookie crumbles. and they have to get ready for that tournament any way they can.
Yeah, that's going to be it's going to be interesting to see how Canfield responds. But I mean, hey, we've seen teams like JFK do it in baseball too. Lower numbers doesn't necessarily mean a hindrance as long as you can get those players ready and prepared come playoff time. And I think that's what Canfield's exactly doing right now.
And they've always been the one of the smaller teams in Division I, even when their numbers did qualify for Division I. So they're not a big, huge Division I program. And you look at the district, some of the teams in the district for volleyball that they might have to run into: Aurora, Green, Uniontown Lake. It turns into a gauntlet of Hoban, can't live Hoban out. It turns into one of those ones where you better make sure that you are squared up and ready for that tournament. And they're trying. I think they still have Perry on their schedule. Still have another matchup with Fitch. So they have plenty of teams getting them ready. They have Girard on their schedule. They're playing Lakeview tonight. Canfield is just sharpening their teeth for tournament time.
Yeah, exactly. And, that's what you should do, honestly, with a young team. Get them prepared. Everyone makes the tournament anyway. So get these young girls prepared and ready to go. And I think they are definitely going to be ready to go come to tournament.
And someone else that's going to be ready to go, we have to give her a little bit of a preview into the show. We are going to have Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley winner this week, Grace Hill, coming on in about 10 minutes at 1:30. We are excited to talk to her. She's leading Beaver Local to another really good season. We're going to talk to her in about 10 minutes. Another big week in Big Dogs of the Valley. We challenged YSN Nation, and they showed up big time, over 100,000 votes. We said it on the program on Friday. It went from 102 to 104 total votes in just between the time we said it and the end of our show at 2:00. So huge voting for the big dogs this week. YSN Nation stepped up. Your winners were Grace Hill and Blaze X-Line. Congratulations to those two. We'll have Grace Hill on here shortly, but we are going to take a little break first, and then we'll be back with Big Dogs, Baird Brothers. Oh, geez, man, Monday. Baird Brothers, Big Dogs of the Valley winner, Grace Hill from Beaver Local, coming up next on YSN.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Jimmy Sudman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
We are there in your community. Small business owners, mechanics, police officers, homemakers, and we are there serving our nation in the Air Force Reserve. When medical emergencies arise, in cybersecurity, When natural disasters happen, we are there in space. We are Reserve Citizen Airmen, and we are there with over 180 different jobs to serve your country. Air Force Reserve.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
My guy keeps it 100% of the time. He wants all 100, won't settle for 99. And it's more than stats, because there's people in those numbers. And I was one of the lost sheep. I'm so glad he cares for all 100. I'm 100% safe, 100% free, 100% love. I can be 100% me. He gave all 100 when they put him up on that tree. That's 100% passion for 100% free. So if I play in front of 100, or if I play in front of 2, there's an audience of 1 getting 100% of what I can do.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience, WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealth.com. Good luck, athletes.
Welcome back to Running Point, the Monday edition, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We are close to welcoming in Grace Hill, the Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley winner this week for Beaver Local Volleyball. Beaver Local 8-1 on this. 8-1 on the season. I forgot. Mondays are getting to me. Ty, I almost left you on the hook. Just whatever. 8-1 on the season. Beaver Local. Reminder that their game tonight against Edison is postponed because Edison is dealing with the loss of Coach Smith. We definitely send our thoughts to Edison. So their next 3 home games still are this week. 3 home games in a row against Steubenville. And then they have Glen Oak and then East Liverpool all at home this week in their next 3 games. 8-1 on the year. Very impressive so far from not just Grace Hill, but the whole Beaver Local volleyball team.
Oh, yeah. Beaver Local, again, showcasing why they're one of the premier programs in the area volleyball-wise. And no doubt the same is true this year as they continue to be dominating as ever. 8-1 on the season, and they just look to continue to keep on rolling as the season goes along. I don't see many teams being able to slow them down or stop them.
And we talked to Coach Lowe earlier this year, and when you look at the success of Beaver Local, I mean, I think you can agree with me. It absolutely starts with the top and the dedication that Coach Lowe has for the sport of volleyball, that program, and the players in it. I can't wait to have her back on the show sometime soon because I think she's one of the premier volleyball coaches in the state, in the area, whatever you want to do. She's just one of the reasons why they're not just having a successful season, but they're a successful program.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Lowe does a great job over there with the program from the top down to having great people in great spots, building that program all the way up from middle school, even elementary school, and bringing those girls up all the way through the high school ranks. I mean, that is truly an exemplification of what a program needs to be, or an example of what your program should be, or what you should strive to make your program look like, because Beaver Local, again, showcasing why they've been successful year in and year out. It's because it's a huge program, not just a team.
And we'll ask Grace about this for sure, but their community also very supportive to that volleyball team. They show up, they cheer. They obviously voted her as the Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley in a poll that got a total of over 100,000 votes. She was able to win that, which is incredibly impressive because there were a lot of big names on that list. So the program, the community support, everything top notch over at Beaver Local. It's not even you can't just say the coach, you can't say the players, but you also have to include the community and the support they get.
Yeah, absolutely. When you talk about over 100,000 combined votes for both the football and volleyball players, that's got to bring some sort of honor to you as a player that, community backed you that much to vote you in as a big dog of the week. And we know there's some strong communities in the area, and boy, did a lot of them show out this week.
That tells you. I mean, if there were over 100,000 votes, you have to think to yourself, well, I had at least a majority of those. So, even though we don't announce the totals, I mean, you have to kind of be like, oh man, you do the math and realize that you got a plethora of votes from your community.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it showcases those communities too. Strong backing of communities in high school sports, and it showcases here every week with Big Dogs.
Man, I want to stop and just realize that I've said plethora twice today on the show. Plethora. I mean, I don't even know where that word came from. I'm not even 100% sure I'm using it correctly. I think I am.
Using it. You're just using words now. Is that? Oh my God. Oh, geez.
Now I'm second guess. That is correct though. If you say it's a plethora of something, it's a bulk. It's a
it's like a large amount of something. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Good. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. It's just funny that you said it, and you're like, well.
Yeah, I just said it, and then I was like, wait a minute, I said that twice, and I'm not 100% sure it was correct.
No, you're good. You're good. You're all right.
Welcome to Monday. Hey, welcome to Grace Hill, the winner of the Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley. Grace, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Man, every time we interview someone from Beaver Local Volleyball, I'm so impressed. I feel like I'm doing a professional press conference with the background and everything.
It's a fantastic backdrop.
Grace, you got to win this week. Your community voted you at the top, and you saw the names on the list. You saw the total votes combined. What does it mean to you that you were able to come out on top, and it was because the people that support you backed you up and went out and voted?
It's really cool. Just that I had that much support, and like my teammates, teachers at school, parents, just overall, it was really cool, and it felt good to have people supporting me.
Talk to me a little bit about the involvement Coach Lowe has with you as a player too, because there's no doubt like the success of the program of Beaver Local is one of the best, I think, in the entire area. Where did your kind of career start with Beaver Local Volleyball, and kind of talk to me a little bit about the impact that coach has had on your life?
I started playing with Coach Lowe for JO when I was younger. I think I was in 5th grade. And ever since then, she's always been so supportive. And obviously, she's an amazing coach. But she always wishes the best for her players in the classroom and also on the court. And she's always pushing us to be our best. And I'm just so glad that, I have such a great coach like her to look up to and to lead us into all of our games.
The volleyball program down there in Beaver Local has just been phenomenal for not just this year, but for years. What's it like to be a part of this program and part of the success and be able to stamp your name as just being a part of it and help it continue to grow?
It's so fun. Just looking at the banners in our gym and using that as a way to motivate ourselves and to keep pushing to be our best, and seeing like a team that had an undefeated season, and seeing that and looking towards that being us this year or making it to the district finals. It's amazing. And it's great to really push myself to look forward to that.
A quick follow-up, and then we'll get back to Ty, but because you talked about the banners that you get to see in that gym, and I love that you used the word motivation, because some teams could look at all that success of a program's history and kind of use it as pressure to say we have to live up to that, or we have to hold that on our shoulders. How has this group been able to not use it as pressure, but use it as motivation to hold up that success and hold up that standard of excellence?
Well, last season, our regular season, we only lost 1 game. And we just kind of looked at that and we were like, okay, that's amazing. This year, let's, go out, and our goal is, obviously the district finals, and that would be the furthest. If we won, I believe that would be the furthest any team's gone in our program. So it's great to look up to that. And every day at practice, we always look at that banner, our past banner, and also the school, I think it was 5 years ago that had the undefeated season, and to look at that and use it as motivation.
I think there's no doubt that various teams, various girls have come in with this that goal in mind too. What sets this group of Beaver local girls and this volleyball team apart from everyone else that's tried before?
Well, it goes back to Coach Lowe saying 212 and heart and desire to push that extra degree. And even though other teams are looking at that, we're going to come in and we're going to work even harder, and on the court and in the classroom. So just really pushing ourselves, but also having that desire and that heart to play, because we're all playing it because it's fun and because we like being around each other and we like playing volleyball.
Let's talk a little bit about some of your teammates, because obviously the sport of volleyball can't be done by one person. What is it being like to build relationships with your teammates? What have been some of the memories that you have with your teammates off the court, and take time to kind of describe the personality of this Beaver local volleyball team?
It's amazing. All of the girls are so supportive. They were all, as soon as the list got posted out for Big Dog, the nominees, they all, posted it and shared it. And we just always come in and we use each other, like I said, as motivation. We, like the middles, we all work together and we all push each other. And if one of us are having an off day, we go in and we pick them up really quick. And I couldn't say we have any weak part of our team. We have great defense, we have great setters, we have great hitters, and we just, we need all those pieces to go good together to perform well together. And I think we do that.
What is one thing that maybe Coach Lowe or maybe a coach told you when you were younger playing volleyball and going through the ranks that you kind of scoffed at before, but now look at now and say, wow, that was actually a really important part of the game, or wow, they were right?
Well, this is kind of like a little story, but it was actually Coach Lowe when I was younger. I used to get in my head a lot, and it would just bring down my overall game because I'd be upset if I made a mistake or hit the ball out. And one time she gave me an eraser, like a school eraser, and she wrote 212 on it and said, use this eraser as kind of an image to just erase your mistakes. So if you make a mistake, just forget about it, move forward and just shake it off, because then, you're going to be able to play better if you just forget about the mistake and keep moving forward.
And that is so important in volleyball, because there's so many points to be had and you have to be able to shake off mistakes. How have you kind of grown in that and been able to get to where you are now, and where you are able to, if you make a mistake, just go to the next point?
Yeah, I definitely think I've grown a lot when it comes to getting in my own head. I just think more of just got to shake it off. No one's mad at you on the court. No one's upset that you hit a ball out of bounds. It was just all in my head. And I just kind of used that image of the eraser when I was younger. And yeah, it's helped so much. And now I don't even really, in the high pressure games, if I make a mistake, I just got to shake it off and, just move forward.
My final question for you, Grace, too. I mean, I know you're in the thick of a volleyball season right now, one where you guys are very much goal-oriented, and I know what your goal is. But take a moment to just reflect on your whole school career and your whole time with Beaver Local in the community, with the team, with your classmates and the students at the school. Reflect on that a little bit and just tell me a little bit about what your Beaver Local experience has been.
It's been great. Our school, we have so much pride, and just seeing people come to our games and us go to other games and go to football games, go to soccer games, and just get out there and support each other. It's been unreal. And that support, it's not even just in our school, it's in the whole community. And I'm just excited to see where the rest of the season goes. And yeah.
We would be remiss if we didn't bring up the fact that you were getting ready to also play at the next level of volleyball as you continue your career at West Liberty. Talk about how excited you are for that opportunity and to be able to, when you do play your last game of Beaver Local, be able to say that you still have volleyball in you and you're going to be able to play at the next level.
I'm really excited. I visited campus. I love it. I love the distance from home, and coaches, the girls, they're all amazing. And I feel like they kind of have the same mindset as my high school team does. So it's just going to be great to go from one team that supports each other to another team that supports each other at the collegiate level. And yeah, like I said, I'm just super excited for that experience.
And obviously you made that decision before the season started. So you came into this season knowing that you had no pressure on your shoulder to impress college coaches or anything like that. How much has that helped you focus on Beaver Local volleyball and what this team has to do to succeed, knowing that the college is already taken care of?
It's definitely been a relief that, yeah, like I already know where I'm going. And then I can just focus on the season and having fun. But it's also great to look forward and say what I'm doing right now is going to help me play later on and help me get to the highest level that I can. So definitely it's definitely a relief, but also I'm still thinking forward and what I'm going to do at West Lib.
All right, on your game day and game day routines, do you have any kind of superstitions or routines that you have to stick to before a game, or you're going to feel all off or out of routine?
I don't really have any major ones, but this year I started wearing my hair with pre-wrap. So like I make a headband out of pre-wrap, and I haven't played a game without it. So that's kind of become a little superstition. But I also just always have to listen to some kind of music beforehand, even if it's just, in the gym with everyone during warm-ups, or if it's listening to it with my AirPods on the way to a game.
What's the go-to playlist for, getting Grace Hill real pumped up for a game?
I like a lot of rock music and some rap music, but honestly, anything that's high, has like a good beat and is energetic gets me excited.
All right, but before we let you go, obviously, student athlete, you're a student as well as an athlete. What are some of your favorite subjects? And have there been any teachers in the Beaver Local community that have really impacted who you are today as you've gone through your high school career?
Honestly, all of my teachers have been amazing. I couldn't even pick just one. They're all unbelievable and so supportive of everything I do off the court and on the court. My favorite subjects this year, I'm taking a lot of College Credit Plus classes, so I don't really have a lot of classes in school. But I really liked Spanish the years past. I took Spanish 1, 2, and 3, and I really enjoyed that.
That's a great answer to say all the teachers, because you still got grades out, and you got to make sure that you're not shorting any of your teachers. So I like it. We thank you for your time today. We thank you for being able to jump on, and congratulations on winning Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley. Good luck the rest of the season, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, that was Grace Hill, one of the leaders, because they have plenty of them, for the Beaver Local volleyball team, and the latest winner of Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley, joining us on Running Point. Ty, what were some of your takeaways of that conversation?
I mean, just the impact that Coach Lowe has had on a lot of these girls from the bottom all the way up now. And I mean, you could tell, some of the most memorable quotes she has is from Coach Lowe from the younger years. And I mean, from having that at an impact at such a younger age and being able to coach it then years later, from all the way down from 5th grade until now, and being able to reflect on, here's what Coach has been telling me years ago. I mean, it's just building that chemistry with Coach and having that. I mean, it's huge, I think, for this Beaver Local program.
Yeah, and one of the things that I really liked was the erase it, because I've seen so many volleyball players turn, because it happens so quick. You have the 1 point and the next point comes right after that. You have no time between a mistake you made and the next ball coming at you. And I've seen a lot of volleyball players make one mistake and turn it into 4, 5, or 6 mistakes because, they can't let it go quick enough. And that ability to just, hey, I made a mistake. No one's ever going to go a whole volleyball match without at least making one, maybe you hit the ball in the wrong spot or you get blocked or it goes out or whatever it may be. You're going to make – it's a sport where, like baseball, you're not going to be 100% succeeding every night. There's just no way. So you have to be able to take that and erase it for the next point, because if you let one mistake turn into 5, then all of a sudden the other team has a 5-point rally and you could be down a bit.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see that too huge that Coach Lowe is starting as early as middle school with trying to instill this within the girls too, because middle school is, I think, easily the most susceptible time for student athletes to really be hard on themselves and start really getting hard on the mistakes that they make. And I think it's huge, especially in the middle school years going into the high school years. Just kind of teaching that maturity level of it's okay to make mistakes. It's about how you react and respond to them that matters. And I think getting that maturity and building that as early as the middle school and even elementary school years all the way up through high school is huge for the Beaver Local program.
And once again, I want to remind the fans that Beaver Local has 3 home games this week, and Chris Sigler has been taking care of broadcasting their home games for us, so they should be on ysnlive.com. They have games against Steubenville, Glen Oak, and the big one against East Liverpool. Round 2, or round dos for Grace Hill, since her favorite category, subject is Spanish. I took Spanish, but I am not fluent. So we will never have a Running Point Spanish edition. I am sorry. I disappoint everyone, but I know some things, but not enough to do the whole show in Spanish.
That'd be impressive if you did that one day. I'd probably have to just leave. I don't think I could stick around and help you out with that one at that point if you just started rattling everything off in Spanish.
I would be checking his settings to make sure he didn't click the Spanish version of Running.
Google Translate right up to the computer.
Did I switch my language to Spanish instead of English?
Honestly.
Get subtitles up. We'll have a fun time.
Yeah. I don't know if it's as fun as you think it'll be, Anthony. It wouldn't be a fun time for me.
No. No bueno.
Yeah, there you go.
We're going to take one more break. We'll be back to wrap up the show on Monday edition of Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Be back in a bit.
News doesn't stop after the sun goes down. Sometimes you just have to hustle to get it. At 21 News, no matter how far it is, no matter what it takes to get there, we're working to bring you the best stories and the freshest content at 11 p.m. with the context and clarity that makes it worth staying up for, no matter what time it is. 21 News at 11 with me, Aaron Simonek, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 11, news that's worth your time.
Coca's Pizza, proud to announce our pizza buffet is back every Wednesday at our Boardman and Campfield locations. Adults only $7.99 and kids only $4.99, and $2 beers starting at 8 o'clock. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
Every customer has a story, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
Welcome back to the Monday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Wrapping this show up as we venture into the close to the 2 o'clock hour, reminding everybody that after us, casual sports podcast from 2 to 3, and then the power hour from 3 to 4. And they'll all be recapping the weekend's action, as well as some other stuff. We want to take a minute to
wait real quick too. I wanted to add to some breaking news for us for Running Point here at the close show. Blaze X Line confirmed for 12 o'clock tomorrow. So we're going to have the X Factor on opening the show for tomorrow's start. So we will have X Line, the other big dog of the week, on for the start of tomorrow's show.
I'm just going to open the show like this and nothing else.
So the X Factor, Blaze X Line, starting off Tuesday's show for us on Running Point.
For the nerds out there like me, this is X. This is Wakanda forever. It's how your fists are hold. So, if you turn your fists in, it's X. This is Wakanda forever. All right. So let's get back on track after I get my nerd out of me. Some volleyball action tonight as we will go through just the teams in action, and then we'll talk about the game on the network. Boardman going to Hubbard. Champion will be going to Warren JFK. Ursuline will be traveling to Warren Harding. Valley Christian going to Brookfield. Western Reserve going to Liberty. Jackson Milton going to Newton Falls. I think this one will be very interesting. I'll be excited to see the results for that one. And then the one that I'll be at, the one that's on YSNLive.com, Crestview, undefeated. We talked about their win over the weekend. Garfield, undefeated. They beat Rootstown over the weekend. MVAC on the line, first place on the line. Both teams undefeated. They're squaring off tonight. They're making up the game that they were supposed to play a couple weeks ago at Garfield. So I will be in Garrettsville for the first time to make the call. Going to be a big one tonight between the Rebels and the G-Men. I am looking forward to it. Also on the network tonight, Jefferson School is taking care of their tennis match against Struthers. So some tennis on the network tonight from Jefferson Area High School as they welcome in Struthers. Soccer girls action tonight. Remember, girls are mainly in action on Monday. Boys usually Tuesday. So the girls action tonight, that's not exact, but it's a mostly. There are some girls playing tomorrow. But you know what I'm saying. Champion goes to Crestview. Newton Falls goes to Brookfield. Hubbard goes to Niles. Warren Harding goes to Ursuline. And we already talked about Fitch. They are hosting Fitch is in action tonight. Let's just say that. I think it's Boardman. I think Boardman goes to Fitch tonight.
And then tomorrow is the boys, I think. For sure. Tomorrow's Campfield and Fitch for boys. So that might be what you were thinking of. Getting a little ahead of yourself.
Also, tomorrow the Canfield girls are playing Kenston in a big matchup on Tuesday, but that's out of conference. So we want to thank Coach Kelly from Louisville. We want to thank Dana Ballish, as always, on Mondays. And we also want to thank Grace Hill, the Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley winner, for joining us tomorrow. Blaze X Line opens the show at 12. We'll talk to the football Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley winner. And then we will also be kind of introducing a new interview that you got to have with the setters of Fitch Volleyball, Aaron Burke and Sammy Missick. So we'll hear from them and what they had to tell you in a little player profile interview with them. That'll be premiered tomorrow as well. Join us from 12 to 2. Until then, we are on a 22-hour break. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next on YSN.